What's going on, guys, and welcome to Rabbit's Used Cars. I know what you're thinking. Rabbit, watch out, there's a Mustang behind you. There ain't no driver in it, and I like to live dangerous, kids. I'm telling you what, I give Ford guys a hard time, and I don't usually openly admit things like this, but I love yous, so I feel like I can share this with you guys. I love this Mustang. This belongs to some good friends of mine. 89 Saleen Supercharged. Dark Cabernet Red, AKA Burgundy. Absolutely gorgeous, tastefully modded. They took a badass car, Saleen Mustang, and just made it even cooler. Just took what Steve did, went up here with it. And I mean, this is just one of those cars that you don't have to be a Ford guy to appreciate this awesome ass car. I love this thing, I really do. I know, like last week I was talking about loving a Dodge, and now I'm loving Fords. It's gonna be crazy. Cats and dogs will start getting together. It's just world peace, everything. It's just nuts. So I was thinking about it, you know, they wanted to bring the car down and I wanted to film with it because I want to show you guys this awesome car. And we're in between cars coming in and out of the warehouse right now because of the damn pandemic. I started thinking about it, like, what's a good story to tell you? What's a good story to tell you? And I got so many little stories that are like a 1 minute one or a 2 minute one. And I got a lot of good Ford stories because I used to be the Ford guy back in the day. I know, it's crazy. I had a Mustang in high school, you know, and you know, we joke about, you know, the Fords, and I give the Ford guys a hard time. I give everybody a hard time. I'm an equal opportunity offender. Deep down, I got love for the automobile in general. You know, we've had some cool Mustangs, but I think this one's probably my favorite. Just nostalgia, just cool. But speaking of another Mustang that was my favorite, kick this off. Back in high school, I had my pride and joy, my junior and senior year, 1994 Mustang GT. I absolutely love that car. I remember it just like it was yesterday, the very first time I ever saw it, because I've never seen a Mustang wrecked so damn bad in my life. And literally, I thought someone died in it. A lot of times, you know, like when cars are going through a salvage sale and someone died in it, they usually have like orange spray paint on it somewhere and didn't have no orange marks on it. Didn't have no damn straight panels either. But triple black 94 GT Mustang, and I absolutely thought that was the coolest thing ever. We bought it for a parts car, 5 liter, and you know, I told my dad, I said, Dad, I want to fix that car, and he said, son, that car's way too rough to fix. And I said, yeah, but how about this other one? And you know, he found another Mustang GT convertible going through the sale, but it was polo green with a tan top. I don't want no green Mustang. I want that triple black GT, Dad. We got it. It's already ours. We need this. Well, he goes, you're going to have to pay for it if you want it. I said, hell, you can fix anything. So I bought my very first Mustang. Keep in mind, this was 96. I bought a 94 Mustang GT. Now keep in mind, had been hit harder than Joe Frazier. And when I say that, and I'll get into a little deeper what we found in it, I bought this car for like $1,500 from my dad. I'm pretty sure he made money off of it because I doubt he paid that for it. The car wouldn't even roll. That's how hard it was hit. You know, Mustang doesn't have a frame, it's unitized, and it pushed the driver's front wheel into the firewall. You know, like, what man, it took a hard hit, left front. Well, if you go to the other side, it pulled the frame out, or the subframe out from the floorboard and firewall. Both airbags out in it, obviously. It pushed the fenders into the doors. The A-frame was straight, the top was straight. The quarters, the fenders hit the doors so hard that it made a dent right behind the driver's door, right at the top. There was a little dent in the quarter where the driver's door hit it and kinked the quarter panel on it, on the driver's side. Had a little dent about that tall. Remember that. That's how hard that car had been hit. And I loved it. It's almost like a Christine fascination with this thing. At the time, we were selling a lot of salvage cars. So we had body shops all over town working on our junk. There was an Iranian guy named Mo, and he came over here, and probably one of the best clip guys you ever seen in your life. So naturally, you know, I've known Mo and going to these body shops with my dad, so Mo comes over to the shop, and I'll take Mo over to see my baby, sitting there wadded up. I said, Mo, how much you charge me to clip this car if I get you a good front clip for it? He goes, too rough, can't fix. It's not what I want to hear, Mo. I said, why can't you fix it? He goes, all wadded up. You can't fix that. He said, that's a parts car. I'm like, no, you're not understanding. I want to fix this. So he goes, you need another car to fix this car. We ain't doing that either. I mean, hell's a brand new Mustang. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Well, a mutual friend of the family says, hey, I know a guy that's got a lot of those Mustang parts. So he introduced me to this guy, gives me an address and a phone number. I call him up, guy answers the phone, hello, it's not a business. And he goes, hey, over at this house on the bad side of town, here in West Greenville, I ride over to look at a bunch of Mustang parts this guy has. The thing that's crazy is Ford made a color in '95. And it was a real, almost a pretty purple color, but they called it sapphire blue. There was a sapphire blue 95 Mustang back clip. So virtually from the firewall back, sitting there, and the doors were laying inside it. Man, that's cool. Well, unfortunately, the backside was the best part of my car. So I didn't need that. Although I bought the doors. I said, hey, I'm looking for a front clip. And he goes, I got one. Awesome. So we walk around to the other side of the shop. And go figure, there's a sapphire blue, perfect 95 front clip sitting there. Everything from the firewall up. And then you look over to the right, and there's a 5-liter fuel-injected HO motor, T5 transmission hooked to it, computer wiring harness and everything laying on top of that. I see seats, everything sitting here, and I start getting very uncomfortable. I said, I was in my pickup truck, we started loading up parts. I put everything I could get in my truck in one trip. Had to come back, obviously, and get the front clip. We got it on a car trailer. Paid the man for the parts. I don't remember exactly what I paid him, but it wasn't a whole lot. And I'm 98% sure that these came from not so good situations. And I'll leave it at that. So I got these parts. I found another body shop that said they would put that car on a frame machine to try to straighten it out to where we could actually make it straight enough to where we could cut it and put this front clip on it. And so this guy worked on this thing on the frame machine for probably 3 days straight, pulling and tugging and welding plates to it, pulling this way and pulling this way. He finally got it to where it was somewhat close to being square from the firewall back. Calls me up and said, got you a car's ready to clip. So go from straight from there, take it to my old buddy Mo. He cuts it right at the firewall, puts the sapphire blue front end on it, fits the fenders to it, hangs the doors on it. It's rolling. And keep in mind, we had to pull the motor transmission out of it, everything out of this car to save it. And I was so excited. You know, it had the 17-inch Trio wheels on it. Get all the nostalgia over here. So we got that car done. And, you know, obviously I didn't have a big budget, you know, but I wanted it slick and I wanted to paint it. And I wanted to use just, you know, it was jet black and the whole car really needed to be resprayed to make it look right. And we had all these brand new parts, except for that one dent in the quarter that we forgot about. Never fixed it. And it's still in that car to this day. We painted the car. Me and my dad painted it in the shop floor with the whole floor down in the truck shop. And we shot that thing, PPG Dark Onyx. It was the darkest at the time base coat, clear coat you could get. Like it was the blackest of the black. It was pitch dark. You would get no darker. I absolutely loved it. The car turned out slick. We cut and buffed it, and it was just like a mirror. Cowl hood. It was literally so slick, and we were putting it together. And we did another thing that was kind of dumb at the time, but keep in mind, I was a 17-year-old kid. I shaved the door handles on it. I don't know why. I just thought that'd be the right thing to do. So we took the door handles off of it and made it smooth. You know, it's kind of made it different. I ended up putting some nice mags on it, and I drove this thing, like I said, the rest of my junior year. I drove it my senior year. Got married the first time. This was my getaway car, was this Mustang. And I drove this car everywhere. This little 5-liter Mustang, I probably put 30,000 miles on it, you know, and just drove it. Never one time had it on an alignment machine. We literally lined it up with a yardstick. It didn't wear tires funny. I took this thing to the drag strip. I tortured this thing. You know, I thought it was the fastest thing in the damn world. We did a few mods to it. You know, I mean, I'm allowed to go street racing this thing. I mean, I drove it everywhere. This was the only car I had to drive. And I mean, this was like the getaway car at my wedding and just all this stuff. And finally I got married and I got my first Corvette. I didn't sell it. I put it up. Sitting in the back of the truck shop, covered up, was my little Mustang. I'd fire it up every once in a while. Well, other than that was it. You just sat. I actually sold the wheels and tires off of it. It just sat, had my little Corvette. I was kind of worried about that at the time. And I was growing up, as my dad calls it. A good buddy of mine calls me up and he goes, man, I want that Mustang you got. He said, I want to fix it up and clean it up. And he said, I want that Mustang. And he finally talked me into a number that I'd take for it. I mean, the car had a salvage title. I mean, it's really worth nothing. Now it's just, you know, an 8-year-old Mustang. He bought it and he cleaned it up and put his little touches on it. Still had the little dent in the quarter, no door handles, you know, and cleaned it up, cut and buffed it. Of course, just came right back, just slick as day one. And he drove for a little while and he met a nice girl and got married. And well, she's pregnant. Well, I don't need this car. So he sold it. And then it got sold again. And I lost it. Like I never saw it again after that. Probably a few years back, we were in Anderson, South Carolina, 20 minutes down the road. Right there on the main drag, we were Christmas shopping. And we pull into like one of these big shoe warehouse places, you know, and big parking lot. Triple black GT Mustang sitting there. Had to ride by. That can't be. That little dent in the quarter. And that car's still on the road today. Talk about Ford tough though. I mean, that's the thing. Like, that's what I love about, you know, everybody and their brother told you that car's not worth fixing. That car ain't worth fixing. They wouldn't listen. And it probably wasn't worth fixing. But I had probably some of the times of my life in that car, riding around. I haven't seen it, like I said, in a few years now. And, you know, I check Facebook Marketplace every once in a while. I just can't help it. 94 Mustang GT. You know, me and Ed looked it up. Matter of fact, on VinWiki, and of course it's not on there. I still remember the last 4 digits of the VIN of that car. So I put a 410 gear in it, back when we were modding things. And the thing that's crazy is 4110 is the last 4 digits of the VIN of it. And I still, now keep in mind, I graduated high school in 98. It is 2020, and I still remember. And I've had 1,000 cars since then, at least. And I still remember the last 4 digits of the VIN of that car. And you gotta think about it. There's some teenage kid probably riding around it now, talking shit and telling everybody how cool it is. Guys, we'll catch you next time at Rabbit's Used Cars.
Soundtrack.
I think Troy would shit a chicken if you played that. Although we do have it. You know, I've never seen him without a shirt on. He may have Cash Money tattooed across his abs. You never know. I'm just
Medium Cabernet Red.
Medium Cabernet Red.
Pick the one.
It gets better.
Burgundy, right?
Is it? It's maroon. And working with amateurs.
It might not be done.
We it's your gonna be the next thing hurting. All right. I think it's a touching one myself.